Hello, my name is Charley O'Neil. I'm studying a Bachelor of Arts at Swinburne University, majoring in Environmental Sustainability and Environmental Science. Last month I participated in the Swinburne Abroad program at Da Nang University of Technology in the city of Da Nang. I was accompanied by 18 other Swinburne students and also a group of students from Da Nang University. Although we were all from various different backgrounds, we were all there to gain insight about sustainability and immerse ourselves in the culture. Da Nang is a modern city, but rich in cultural diversity and history. It's well known as being colonised by the French and has therefore been influenced by them in many ways, including cuisines, religion and architectural buildings. Da Nang City is the halfway point between the capital in the north, Hanoi, and the capital in the south, Ho Chi Minh, formerly known as Saigon. In this video I'll be speaking about contextual learning, what I learned during my trip and how it compared to my way of life in Australia. Contextual learning involves making learning meaningful to students by connecting to the real world. There was definitely a lot of difference between our style of learning compared to back in Australia. We tend to be much more interactive with the teachers, but in Da Nang it was much more formal and students tend to learn directly from their teachers in class. During our program we got the opportunity to visit a local organic farm in Hoi An, which use traditional farming methods and techniques. They use sustainable practices and materials to fertilise their crops such as seaweed and do not use harmful chemicals such as pesticides or herbicides. We all got the chance to try out some of the farming techniques and pot some of our own vegetables before cooking some traditional Vietnamese food afterwards. What was surprising was how skilled the farmers were and how easy they all made it look, despite doing it all by hand and using very little tools. One thing that was definitely apparent in Vietnam was the high level of skills that most people have. Farming, agriculture, fishing, street vending, hospitality, construction or tourism tend to be the most common jobs in Vietnam and tend to bring in the most for the economy. In Vietnam, most people that I met knew how to farm, cook, build or have some form of trade under their belt. They were skilled in very many areas or had techniques that had been passed on from their parents or grandparents. When this compares to Australia, where we tend to pay someone to build something for us or rely on specialised people to do it for us. With education being the most important skill in Western culture, there does tend to be higher expectations, and in many cases, people in Western societies tend to be overqualified when it comes to jobs. In Vietnam, most of the older generation had no educational background at all and relied on their skills as a main source of income. Having spent time in Saigon, Hanoi, Hoi An, Hue, and Ba Na, it allowed me to really get an understanding as a whole about sustainability in Vietnam. One of the aspects that shocked me the most was the huge amount of waste on the streets and the amount of plastic used in Vietnam, primarily single-use plastic. Being able to experience this gave me a much better understanding for ideas for our team project and why it was so important to share information on sustainability to the rest of the students at DUT. Almost every food item or purchase we made came in some form of plastic, and with no real recycling infrastructure in Vietnam, we knew that most of it was going to end up in landfill. There was definitely a comparison between the tourist sites to the cities and rural areas in which we visited, where we would see much more segregated bins and signs to highlight that they cared about the environment. Whether this was a facade that they put on to tourists to appear more sustainable or something that actually was implemented is something I'd be interested to find more information on. There doesn't tend to be any real social awareness or interest for sustainability in Vietnam, or information about the impact that plastic actually has on the planet. For us, it was important to be accepting of traditional lifestyles while also trying to promote sustainable acts in a non-aggressive way. This program allowed me to engage with local community in Da Nang and tackle some global issues and social responsibility. I got to learn more about the cultural differences between Australia and Vietnam, build on team building and problem solving skills, and hopefully shed light on some of my weaknesses too. Overall, I really enjoyed the study abroad program. I felt I've learned a lot about traditional Vietnamese culture and sustainability as a whole. Thank you to Francois for creating this program, Tu for assisting us and giving us better understanding of Da Nang City, the faculty at DUT for allowing us to partake in this program, and the students of DUT and my friends from Swinburne for making it such a memorable and incredible experience that will stay with me for a long time.